All right, what is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to the channel. I just got home from New York, got off a plane, came straight here, and I'm going to talk about the things that I missed this morning. Now, I've seen the nominations. This isn't my first reaction, but I've not had the opportunity to look through really anything, and this video is super cool because I actually had a say in one of these award shows that we're talking about, and I may just be going to that award show, but we'll get to Critics' Choice in a bit. First off, I want to do the first portion of this video talking about the Golden Globes. Who got nominated? What are we overlooking here? How does this affect the Oscars? We're going to talk about it. If you guys like this video, something different, a combined video, support it by dropping your thumbs up down below and let me know, what was the craziest thing to happen from these nominations? What does it mean? All right, Austin, let's get to it. Starting here with the Golden Globes, we're not going to spend too much time on the TV side of things because we're talking more Oscars here. But seeing Kieran Culkin, a show like Succession, a show like The Morning Show, which got maybe a bit more love than I expected, but it's the Golden Globes, so I should have expected that. It's a good show, but something like a Ted Lasso, Squid Game. It's funny because the shows that are the most prominent from Netflix in these awards are the international television shows and shows that I've watched. So super excited to see Squid Game get a little bit of love here. But then we have someone like a Brian Cox and a Billy Porter in Best Television Actor. Of course, Succession showing strong with 2 nominees here. Lupin getting some love as well, talking more about international content on Netflix. Then we move into the musical comedy series Best Television Actress. Some notable ones that I really like: Elle Fanning, Issa Rae from Insecure, Tracee Ellis Ross. I haven't watched a ton of Blackish the last couple of seasons, but she's always good. So I can confirm my wife is loving The Great. I haven't caught up yet, but from what she's saying, Nicholas Hoult deserves it. I'll tell you this, I love seeing Steve Martin and Martin Short for Only Murders in This Building. To a degree, I understand, right, because they're the big names, but Selena Gomez not getting any love for her role just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I haven't seen all of these shows that were nominated there, but you got 2 of the 3 leads, you don't have the 3rd lead. Maybe my favorite, Jason Sudeikis, but don't sleep on Only Murders because that was a great show. Supporting actress, Caitlin Dever. I can never get enough of Caitlin Dever. More Succession love. I love that Maid inclusion. Andie MacDowell, Maid, one of the best TV shows of the year on Netflix. It may end up in my top 10. Let's go into the next set of categories. Best TV Motion Picture. This is pretty cool. So we're going to get something like a Maid, which is great to see. Mayor of Easttown, still one of my favorite shows of the year. The Underground Railroad, just visceral and visual filmmaking at its finest. Dopesick is one that I need to see, and Impeachment I started. Really like it so far. Best Actress in a TV Motion Picture, Margaret Qualley, love it. Kate Winslet, love it. Elizabeth Olsen, come on now. The WandaVision love, okay? Could have used more of it. Could have used a WandaVision nomination. But I'm loving seeing Olsen paired with Paul Bettany. I've heard great things about Scenes from a Marriage. And then you have some notable names like Tahir Rahim, Ewan McGregor, and Michael Keaton. Drama series actress, the notable names here: Elizabeth Moss. I'm still catching up on this season of The Handmaid's Tale. The Morning Show with More Love, The Good Fight. Musical comedy series as a whole, once again, you have The Great, Only Murders, Ted Lasso. Some really big-time shows. It's going to be hard to predict a winner, but if I had to guess, I would say Ted Lasso. That's the show that's always getting the love. Moving into Best Drama Series. Man, here is a big surprise. Lupin in the drama series. The Morning Show, man, I could name a lot of omissions from this category. But again, this is not something I'm going to dive too deep into. I'm going to focus more on the movie side of things. But I will say Squid Game, yes. Succession, yes. Super cool to see those included. But let's get into the motion picture side of things, the categories that I'm really intrigued by. Song category, no big surprises here. Love seeing Encanto get some recognition. That song was awesome. King Richard, Be Alive, that may just be your winner. But No Time to Die, maybe the only time you see it at the Oscars. But I'm going to be really happy when it gets that nomination. Of course, Best Score, you have something like The Power of the Dog, The French Dispatch, Dune, which is my favorite to win this category. Not doing predictions just yet, but nice surprises here. Encanto, nice surprise. Parallel Mothers, I like the score for Parallel Mothers. I'm not sure if it garners an Oscar nomination over some of the snubs in this category, but overall, I think a pretty solid group of nominees. Best Non-English Language Motion Picture, Compartment Number 6, a nice surprise. I did watch Drive My Car last week. It absolutely deserves to be in there. The Hand of God, yes. A Hero, yes. Those three in the middle are potential Oscar nominations. And I think Parallel Mothers could get in there as well. Penelope Cruz gives one of the best performances of her entire career. Really great in that movie, so it's kind of nice to see it on there. Best Picture Animated, the one that crushes me about this category, absolutely crushes me, is a lack of the Mitchells versus the Machines, which I would take over most of these films. Look, I loved Encanto. I really enjoyed Luca, right? And it's nice to see Flea in there. But I just feel like Mitchells versus the Machines tackles so many different things, but has that level of levity and humor, but the writing to go along with it. I just thought it was a creative force, and I definitely still see it in the Oscar conversation, but, the Golden Globes, sometimes we can project based off of this, so I hope it doesn't spell no nomination for the Oscars. Then we get into the screenplay categories. Oh boy, and you have Kenneth Branagh, Paul Thomas Anderson, Jane Campion, yes, yes, and yes. The two that I wouldn't personally put in there, Adam McKay for Don't Look Up, Aaron Sorkin being the Ricardos, two really, really great writers. But for this material, I personally, and especially for Being the Ricardos, I can understand to a degree Don't Look Up because, you're trying to balance so many things. But Being the Ricardos, I personally think is one of his weakest scripts. So that was a bit of a curious nominee for me. It's almost like a boring nomination as much as I love Sorkin. So, okay. Best Director, no PTA in this category. We have Maggie Gyllenhaal, which is a surprise for me for The Lost Daughter. But, I thought she did a really great job with The Lost Daughter. I thought for sure, though, we would see PTA in there. The ones that I expected Campion, I expected Branagh, and Villeneuve. Spielberg, for me, is over a couple of these, but I don't know if I thought they would put him in there. But after seeing West Side Story, I think it's evident that he should be in there. What does this spell for the Oscars? Well, I think Campion, Branagh, Villeneuve, they're locks. I want to throw Spielberg in there as well. I don't know if Gyllenhaal gets the Oscar nomination, but her direction's really solid. So let's go into some of the other categories. We're talking about acting, and here's where we split up more so musical and comedy, right? We have Best Actress in a Musical Comedy. Emma Stone in Cruella. Look, I know you guys are going to point to other performances this year. We have, In the Heights and Tick, Tick, Boom, and I would probably put some of those musical performances in here over some of these nominees. But I really liked Emma Stone in Cruella. I mean, I really, really did. So I don't personally hate that choice. I know I've been seeing others have on Twitter. Jennifer Lawrence, I didn't love Don't Look Up, but her performance really was good. Alana Haim, yes. Marion Cotillard, a bit of a surprise, but she's Marion Cotillard, and a lot of people love Annette. Rachel Zegler, just give it to her. Best Actor, Leo from Don't Look Up, expected. Peter Dinklage, I love seeing this. I just watched this movie. I had to watch a ton of things last week to vote for the Critics' Choice. Man, he's really good in this film, right? He probably gives the best performance of his career. I'm not going to say it's the best movie he's ever done. We'll talk about that. There's my tease. But yeah, he's phenomenal. Andrew Garfield, lock. Cooper Hoffman, Licorice Pizza, great to see him in there. Anthony Ramos, look, I love it. In the Heights, I know it got the backlash, but I was a massive fan of that movie. So to see him get some love, to see this movie get some love, it's just nice because it was forgotten about, and I hate that it was forgotten about. Best Supporting Actress, Motion Picture. So all of the movies combined. We have Catriona Balfe from Belfast, Ariana DeBose from West Side Story, Kirsten Dunst, Aunjanue Ellis, who I expected, Ruth Negga from Passing. Now, she's been making her way into a lot of these conversations, so it's kind of cool to see that this is, I believe this is one of the first big times that we've seen her recognized on this level. Best Supporting Actor. Give Ben Affleck some love, man. Ben Affleck, it's nice to see him on there for The Tender Bar. I would have put him on for The Last Duel, but he was really good in The Tender Bar. Another one that I watched last week. Jamie Dornan, expected. Ciarán Hinds, expected. Troy Kotsur from Coda. Yes, yes, yes. I think he's got a shot, man. I really do. This is, we keep seeing his name pop up more and more, and he's one that I really want to get in there. Cody Smith-McPhee from The Power of the Dog. And I'll go back through and look at some of these acting categories, we're forgetting about, in my opinion, we're forgetting about some of the films that, we have films like Nightmare Alley and The Last Duel and Come On, Come On. I just feel like they've all been forgotten about, and it's such a bummer because these are all films that resonated on a huge level with audiences, not Nightmare Alley yet, but I feel like it will. I enjoyed that movie, but more so just the lack of unexpected options. And I look at the Best Actor category, and I see expected, right? We knew Cumberbatch, we knew Smith, we knew Washington, whom I'm all very happy with. Now, I will say, Mahershala Ali is unexpected. I can't speak upon that. I haven't seen Swan Song. Javier Bardem, look, really good in the film, but again, I'm just not the biggest fan of being the Ricardos, so there are so many actors I would have rather have seen in there. Joaquin Phoenix for Come On, Come On. I guess that would have played in the drama category, not necessarily comedy. Best Actress, Kidman, Ricardo's. Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, finally making its way onto this list. Expected, Kristen Stewart, Olivia Colman, and Chastain. Olivia Colman, someone who has been slowly making her way into the conversation. You got Gyllenhaal as the director. You had to put her in there for The Lost Daughter. She was really, really great. And then we go into the musical comedy category, and we have 2 what we would consider comedies, Licorice Pizza, yes, and then 3 actual musicals. Again, In the Heights, it's such a bummer, but I actually really like this category because, most years we're getting 1 or 2 that's like, is that a musical or is that a comedy? Or is it neither? And sometimes it's neither. Do you guys remember when music got nominated? Don't want to talk about that again. Best Picture Drama, nothing unexpected here. Dune, Belfast, King Richard, The Power of the Dog. Coda. Coda is unexpected. And I honestly thought that could go in the musical comedy category because it's comedic and there's a lot of music in it, but it has heart. And to see it get this nomination and some more nominations, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, it could get a Best Picture nomination. I can't wait to watch the film again. I've not stopped thinking about it since I saw it back in January, but really, really good film. And so for the next part of this, we're talking about Critics' Choice. I want to give you guys the nominees, which you're going to see on screen, but I also want to read to you what I voted for. So how we vote is we give our top 3, and every person gives their top 3, and then they come to a consensus top 5, except for, of course, Best Picture, which they choose 10. So you're going to see some massive differences here, and then get an idea as to how I feel about this and the Golden Globes a bit better, right? So we're going to start with Best Score, and here are my nominees. So Dune, Spencer, and Nightmare Alley. I actually see all 3 of those on this, so I'm happy with these nominees. The other 2 are Don't Look Up and The Power of the Dog, which Johnny Greenwood having a fantastic year, so nice to see him get in for movies that I believe he deserves it for. I like the score for Don't Look Up, not the most memorable of the year, but overall, I think clearly a solid category. For Best Song, my songs were from No Time to Die, King Richard, and Encanto, and once again, y'all, we got all 3 on there. The Harder They Fall, Guns Go Bang, really great inclusion as well. And then, of course, Just Look Up in Don't Look Up, good ones as well. Best Foreign Language Film, the best ones I've seen all year, and I can't wait to review a lot of these for you guys. The Worst Person in the World, Flee and Drive My Car. Again, you see, I didn't obviously impact this just me, right? But when you actually vote for something and you see these things in there, that'll change here in a little bit. It's cool to see how you made an impact. Of course, The Hand of God and A Hero in there as well. And you could just be looking at the 5 nominees at the Oscars. That could shift 1 or 2 in and out. But I like those 5. I really, really do. Best Animated Feature. There's the Mitchells versus the Machines. Really wanted the Summit of the Gods, okay? I also wanted Encanto. Encanto's on there. You have films like Flea and Luca, Raya and the Last Dragon. So I like that 5. The Summit of the Gods just wasn't really talked about that much. It's a shame. It's a real shame. And then a film like Belle, which I think still maybe has a shot at the Oscars. Probably not at this point, but solid 5. The Summit of the Gods, I really, really liked. Best Comedy. Barb and Star. There's Barb and Star. Don't Look Up. Free Guy, The French Dispatch, Licorice Pizza. Comparing that to my category, you have something like A Free Guy, The French Dispatch, and Licorice Pizza. So it's really a really good 5, in my opinion. I wasn't over the moon about Barb and Star, but a year with less comedies than normal. Maybe something like Ghostbusters Afterlife, but yeah, I mean, it's the critics' choice. Now we're going to look at the genre films. even though I love the genre films, all right? So Free Guy being on there, though, that is super cool. Best visual effects. Here's one. So The Matrix Resurrections is on there. I haven't seen that film, so it wasn't on my list. I had Dune, Shang-Chi, Godzilla vs. Kong. We have Dune and Shang-Chi. No Godzilla vs. Kong, but I do see something like No Time to Die and Nightmare Alley. And honestly, the VFX in both of those are really great. So I have no complaints in this category. But you watch Godzilla vs. Kong, and it's kind of spectacular what they were able to do. Much larger scale and less subtle, clearly, but that doesn't mean it wasn't great. So that was kind of my rationale behind putting that on my list. Best hair and makeup, and honestly, I had so many options for this. Mine were Dune, House of Gucci, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, all three of those on there, but can't go wrong with Cruella, can't go wrong with Nightmare Alley. Costume design, I loved. I had a time and a half trying to figure this one out, but I went with Spencer, Dune, West Side Story, and, kind of shocked not seeing Spencer on there. Okay, we have Dune, we have West Side Story, then we have Nightmare Alley, and Cruella once again making a splash. Okay, maybe Cruella sneaks its way into some of these categories. House of Gucci, absolutely. The really good nominees, so no big complaints thus far. Best editing. A couple that I personally wanted on here. The big one is really Come On, Come On. And it's such a simplistic movie, but you look at the way that interweaves the documentary-style filmmaking with the narrative storytelling, and I loved that. But really, some solid nominees here. Dune, yes. Licorice Pizza, yes. And West Side Story, the ones that I'm the most happy with. Belfast, The Power of the Dog, numbers 4 and 5. Best production design. I had Nightmare Alley, West Side Story, and Dune. You add in French Dispatch, which would have been my fourth choice, and Belfast, which is another great nominee. So far, these technical categories, which are admittedly not as fun as some of the others, but they've been really spot on. So I'm super happy to be telling you guys some of these nominees. Cinematography, one of my personal favorites, and mine include that of Dune, West Side Story, and The Tragedy of Macbeth, which are the first three on there. Power of the Dog, Nightmare Alley, Belfast, not unexpected. So yeah, that's a pretty good category. All right, best adapted screenplay. I like Coda, I like West Side Story, and I like Dune. Okay, The Lost Daughter and Power of the Dog on there as well. At this point, I'm going to say Jane Campion is the favorite to win that category. If you were to ask me, I think I'm the happiest with the Coda screenplay because it's so unexpected and beautifully told. So I know it's kind of the underdog in that category, but I really, really love that. Something like West Side Story, yes, I love the movie, but that's, and it was switched a little bit. It's been told before, so I'm not but I still think it's a phenomenal screenplay. So a very difficult one to judge. Original screenplay, a bit easier, in my opinion. And my nominees for that included Licorice Pizza, Come On, Come On, which is, across the board snubbed, and Belfast. Being the Ricardos, I don't know, guys. I don't know. If you like the movie, let me know. Don't Look Up, still not, I wouldn't have put it on there, but a lot of people like the film, so I understand why that one's on there. Belfast, King Richard, which I already mentioned Belfast, but King Richard, I think, you look at the type of movie that you expected compared to the type of movie that you got, one that is clearly built to be a crowd pleaser, and was, but more, I like the fact that that's on there. For director, Denis Villeneuve, yes. Steven Spielberg, yes. Paul Thomas Anderson, yes. Really nice category. Del Toro being on there is really cool. Jane Campion and Branagh for Belfast. So I think within these nominees, you're going to see a lot of reoccurring nominations for the Academy Awards when the time comes. So I like the Best Director category. Mike Mills, I'm going to keep harping about the film Come On, Come On. By the time this video ends, you're going to be sick of it. Acting Ensemble, Belfast, Don't Look Up, The Harder They Fall, Licorice Pizza, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. A lot different from my nominees. My nominees were Dune, Nightmare Alley, and The Last Duel. So, 0 for 3, Austin. 0 for 3. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these acting ensembles are incredible, like really, really great. But for me, you have some of the more powerhouse casts elevating the material, I'd say just as much, if not more so, than these other nominees. So we're getting into the examples where my votes differ from the consensus drastically. Best Young Actor or Actress, Emilia Jones, yes. Jude Hill, yes. Woody Norman, yes. And then you can't go wrong with Cooper Hoffman, Sania Sidney, and Rachel Zegler in West Side Story. A great group of young nominees. Love that category. Supporting Actress. If nothing else goes right today, Ann Dowd in there for Mass makes me so freaking happy, as well as Ariana DeBose and Anjanou Ellis for King Richard. So 3 for 3 in this category. That was pretty good. Rita Moreno in West Side Story. Obviously, the ones that I voted for are the ones that I'm most happy with, but in terms of the Oscars, a couple of those, Ann Dowd, I'm starting to really doubt she gets an Oscar nomination, and I hate it. I hate it. Jamie Dornan, Belfast. Ciarán Hinds, Belfast. Safe choices. J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos. Very unexpected. Love J.K. Simmons, but very unexpected. Cody Smith-McPhee for The Power of the Dog. Jared Leto in House of Gucci. Is he going to get the Oscar nomination? Troy Kotsur in Coda. Mine are Troy Kotsur, Woody Norman in Come On, Come On, John Bernthal in King Richard. I am kind of heartbroken that Woody Norman and John Bernthal, one of those, they're not on here. So Troy Kotsur got him right. Best Actress, Kristen Stewart. Yes. Rachel Zegler? Rachel Zegler. Nope. I don't see her anywhere. And then Jessica Chastain from The Eyes of Tammy Faye. So 2 for 3. You also have Lady Gaga, Alana Haim, which I really love. Nicole Kidman, okay. Olivia Colman from The Lost Daughter. So a couple safe choices there, but obviously there's 2 on there that I love more than the others. Throw in Alana Haim, I loved her as well. So 3 on there that I'm just really high on. And then we get into Best Actor. And here's the best part of this entire video. We're going to talk about Nicolas Cage in Pig. And I love the fact that he made it on here. I love it. And then, of course, you have the 2 big ones, Will Smith, Andrew Garfield. They're kind of the ones. I think Denzel has a shot at it. Benedict and Peter Dinklage, kind of expected. Good to see them on there. But it's really those bottom 3 and Nicolas Cage. Yes! Come on, man. That's great. Where's Joaquin Phoenix? I need to stop. And finally, Best Picture. I'm going to tell you guys mine out of order so I can save some excitement for my end of the year list. Licorice Pizza, West Side Story, The Last Duel, Come On, Come On, and Dune. So I knew The Last Duel and Come On, Come On probably wouldn't be on there, but I felt confident that West Side Story, Licorice Pizza, and Dune would, and they were. I was just trying to give some love to some of these other films that I felt deserved to be in it. But we see Coda, yes, Don't Look Up, okay. Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley. Nice to see Nightmare Alley. I didn't know if it was going to get on there or not. Power of the Dog, expected. Tick, Tick, Boom, which I love. Tick, Tick, Boom being on there. And West Side Story. So, man, shaking up the conversation just a little bit. I still don't know if I give Tick, Tick, Boom a huge chance, but that 9 and 10 spot at the Oscars, it's just so up in the air right now. Like, I've kind of depleted Come On, Come On's chances of getting the last spot, which I hate. And you still have a movie like Being the Ricardos. I don't know. At this point, I feel like Don't Look Up is going to get a Best Picture nomination, even with a bit of the critical divisiveness and myself being on like the okay, side. But overall, I like a lot of the nominations. I don't love all of them, right? But it's all so subjective. No one's going to love it. And I think there were some clear, actors and actresses and movies in total that were snubbed entirely from this conversation. Like, I can't believe House of Gucci's getting noms, The Last Duel isn't, Come On, Come On, and a couple of these A24 films have just been completely forgotten about. No The Green Knight anywhere to be found. And I understand the campaign for a lot of these, they weren't the biggest and the bestest, but for the most part, I think there are a lot of really good ones on here. The standout for me, though, is Nicolas Cage in Pig as with the Best Actor nomination. That's just so cool to see, and I don't know exactly how this is all going to transfer over. It's such a separate entity, a completely different voting body, so, but you are going to see some things that do cross streams, if that's a good way to put it. By the way, I'm thinking about going to the Critics' Choice Awards and doing a little filming along the way, a little documentary style thing for you guys. So I think that would be super cool. I would absolutely love for you guys to recommend down below what you would like to see from me, whether it be an entire video or short videos at the Critics' Choice Awards. Regardless, I still have to do my full predictions, so I'll be predicting each category for the Critics' Choice Awards, and I'll probably do one for Golden Globes. We'll just have to see. Overall, though, guys, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you so much for being here, staying with me while I travel. It's nice to be back home, even though I did love New York. But we got a lot of videos to make this week. Tomorrow, I'm watching Spider-Man.